We have a new light heavyweight champion, we have an upset in the heavyweight ranks, and we have a dominant performance at middleweight. All this and more at UFC 187. Let's go over the results and start by noting that a fight was scrapped from tonight's card. We did not get to see Nina Ansaroff and Rose Namajunas because Ansaroff had the flu and couldn't make weight yesterday and was not cleared to compete today. Now back to the main event, and then we'll work our way down from there. Daniel Cormier is your new light heavyweight champion, beating Anthony Johnson with a rear naked choke at 2:39 of the third round. And as you might expect, he used his superior wrestling to his advantage, wearing Rumble Johnson out. He would get a flurry at the beginning of each round, but by the third round, he was breathing hard and really tired. And once Cormier got him to the ground and took his back, you could tell Johnson was just flat out exhausted and looking for a reason to tap. He took it. Then, at middleweight, Chris Weidman demolished Vitor Belfort, who had a very brief flurry early on in the fight, managed to cut Weidman, and, there was a chance there for a little bit, but Weidman covered up and blocked almost all of the shots. Once he took him down a minute and 40 into the first round, it was a wrap because Belfort just got lit up with hammer fists and elbows and gave up his back, ate jackhammer left and rights. Herb Dean looked for a reason to stop it, and Belfort didn't fight back, and it gave it to him. That ended the fight at 2:53 of the very first round. Donald Cerrone completely dominated John Makdessi, had a textbook first round, using leg kicks very effectively to slow Makdessi down, only eating the occasional left that Makdessi threw. Then in the second round, as Makdessi was slowing down, he lit into him over and over again with the leg kicks and the high kicks, and hit him with a head kick that probably broke Makdessi's jaw, and he put up his hands like he was signaling for time. Jason Herzog was like, no timeout in fights. This is over. If you can't continue, this fight's done. 4:44 of the second round, Cerrone dominates again. The upset of the night was Andrei Arlovski and Travis Browne in a fight that went 4 minutes and 41 seconds and was pure adrenaline the whole time. Arlovski, he looked like a completely different man. This was like the pit bull of old. Like, rewind the clock 8, 9, 10 years. That's the Andrei Arlovski you got in this fight. He was headhunting. He was vicious. He was not letting Browne off the hook. Browne was just trying to survive. You could see every now and then he'd get wobbled against the fence. He'd escape. He'd try to just hang in there any way he could. He even managed to counterpunch and clip Arlovski at one point, and Arlovski was in trouble, but he survived. His chin is not the glass chin it used to be. So, excellent performance from Andrei Arlovski here, who finally TKO'd him at 4:41 of the first round. Big upset in the heavyweight rankings. That vaults Arlovski pretty much up to the top because Browne was right near the top for this fight and was heavily favored in the rankings to win. Joseph Benavidez got a unanimous decision over John Moraga. It was a solid performance. Outstruck him, just tore Moraga up, pretty much turned his head into a paintbrush by the end of this fight. The way it looked, he was, any time that Benavidez got him to the ground, his head was leaving a trail on the canvas. It was a very literal paintbrushing job because he just couldn't stop bleeding. Moraga was a crimson mask. So, dominant performance by Benavidez. Much more exciting than the Dodson Makovsky fight, which he won 29-28 across the board. I really don't want to say anything more than that. Hyun Kim beat Josh Burkman with an arm triangle choke at 2:13 of the third round. He looked dominant in every single moment of the fight. I don't think the People's Warrior really had much to offer him here. Rafael Natal, in a somewhat controversial decision, split decision, gets two 29-28s over Uriah Hall. But Uriah Hall didn't do enough to sway the judges, so it's his own fault. It's that same old story with Uriah Hall. Sometimes he pulls the trigger and sometimes he doesn't. And in this fight, he seemed to be holding back for some reason. We'll never know why. Colby Covington gets a unanimous decision over Mike Pyle, 2 30-27s and a 29-28. And in Fight Pass prelims, Islam Makhachev defeats Leo Kuntz with a rear naked choke at 2:38 of the second round. And Justin Scoggins beat Josh Sampo 30-27 across the board at flyweight.